So it's finally time to get rid of the hood prop rod in the new Toyota Tacoma. It's a shame that Toyota does not include this in all of their Tacomas anyway. I think it should be a standard item. But I'm talking about putting struts or hood struts on the Tacoma so that we can get rid of this stupid thing. See, we do have a bracket pops out at us right off the bat. A second one, of course, for the other side. And then we have a couple more brackets. I'm guessing these go on the existing hood hinges. And then we have the struts here as well. Nice, good looking Redline Tuning struts. Then we have a bolt. Not sure what that's for. Got everything laid out here. You're going to need a 12 millimeter socket and then 2 wrenches. 13 millimeter for the right hand side, 12 millimeter for the left hand side. And the 12 millimeter socket is for the bolts on the hinges for the hood. You are going to need to remove or reuse 3 bolts in the truck, the 2 hinge bolts, and then 1 on the driver's side, and then they provide one that you don't have for the passenger side. Lastly, they've labeled all of these parts with numbers. I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can see that. Everything's labeled with numbers and then explained right up here at the top which goes where, so they really couldn't make it much simpler. You have these 2 hood brackets here, driver side, passenger side. They are going to go with the nub facing in on the top bolts on the hinges. You have one over here, and then obviously the same thing on the other side. The other 2 brackets are going to go down in the engine bay. One in an existing hole, which is right down here in between the battery and the fuse panel, with a little nub that fits in a little slot down there. It fits really well. The other is over here right behind all of the lines here, and it is going to use this screw. I'll give you a wider angle. This screw is going to hold the bracket inside the engine bay. Okay, we're going to start with the passenger side or right hand side of the truck. We're going to take this top bolt out. Hardest part of this is making sure you don't drop the bolt down inside the engine bay. Of course, you do not want to do that. You could throw a little bit of Loctite on here, I guess, if loosening concerns you. There's already some on the bolt, you can see here. Now, the bracket needs to go on with the nub pointing into the truck. So, I'm going to go ahead and get that mounted back in. Bracket number 55 for the passenger side, and I'm going to put it in front of the wire that's here, because there is a wire, unfortunately, right in the way. They say to use a wrench. I'm going to use a socket because I think it's easier than a wrench, and a socket, a short socket, fits right in there, so not a problem. Okay, we're on the driver's side with bracket number 54. We're going to remove this bolt. I'm going to try to do it with a ratchet, but it's not going to work because the ratchet is too big. Alright, that's got all the brackets in. Now we just need to put the struts on the balls. They are identical, so it doesn't matter which side goes where. You do want the thinner part, if you will, to be at the bottom. You don't want that to be like this at the top. You want it to be like this at the bottom. The key to doing this is you want to kind of rock it on there. You don't want to just push it on because it has these little clips inside, so you don't want to bend them. You want to kind of rock it on from the side like that. Now notice you have a let's turn that. You have a gap between where it's going to be. That means the hood is going to be open a little bit further. This is where it might be a good idea to have a little help, someone to hold the hood while you do this. But I don't, so at the moment, so I'm going to try to do it myself. I did. Now it will hold by itself. So that one's on. Now let's go ahead and do the driver's side. Like so. And rock it on just like that. And that's it. That puts the struts on. And you can see, I think, that it's a pretty good height here. So it gives you a lot of room to be able to work under the hood without having to screw with this thing. To give you an idea, that's the difference in distance between the highest point you could have put it up. So it's about an extra, I'd say, couple of inches or so height that you get by using the hood struts. Now, of course, the key to all of this is, do they work? Okay, it is a bit of a reach for me to grab the hood now. If you're below 5'9½", you might need a stool or something to stand on to reach the hood. You can always grab it from here, but you don't want to kind of cock the hood. So I'm going to grab it up here. We're going to pull down and see what happens. And you're supposed to work them a few times. Alright, so let's test it. Now I pop the hood and release the bracket, and I'm going to give it the old couple of finger push and see if it goes up. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Do it again. Bring it down, couple finger push. That is just too freaking cool. Now, one thing I want to point out, you know, I've used some kind of what I'll call knockoff hood struts in the past on a Tacoma that also connected in the brackets. They didn't fit tightly and securely like these do, so the hood would kind of warp when you were putting it up and down, like there was movement in their brackets, and there was. You don't have any of that with the Redline tuning. Let me show you one more time. Pay attention to how the hood operates. You see it's a nice even flow up and down. The hood is not doing this when you're moving it. That's good. I never liked that about the knockoffs. I eventually took them off and went back to Redline Tuning struts. These are much easier. Still, the best ones out there are Redline in my experience. But with the 3rd gen, you have to drill a couple holes and put a couple rivets in. Still the best way to go. But these are strictly bolt-on, as you saw, and it works perfectly. Anyway, that's the install. There is now a hood strut out there for the 4th gen. Check them out if you're interested in this. They're over at redlinetuning.com. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.